What is up, my subscription sheeple? Welcome back to Getting Baked, the official baked goods podcast. I know we haven't seen each other in a while because the week before finals and then subsequently finals were pretty stressful, so I decided to cut back on the YouTube content so I could focus on that GPA grind. So now that it's winter break, I expect to switch gears and focus more on YouTube because I know I have tens of fans dying to see my content, and they want something to watch when their family is torturing them over Christmas. So here I am, and here you are. It's a happy reunion. On this episode of Getting Baked, we are going to be talking about the Jackbox Party Pack 5, which I know I don't like giving my opinion at the beginning because it can taint your thoughts and taint my thoughts as I'm talking about them. But this is a very strong party pack. It rivals 3. I don't think it quite beats 3, but it is up there as one of the best party packs. So without further ado, let's jump into the games and discuss them in the order, as always, as they appear inside the physical game menu. So the first game is called You Don't Know Jack, and this is the full stream edition. That basically means the theme of this game is it's like a parody of Netflix. They have something called Binge Pipe, which is a parody of some streaming service. So there are different like screens and recommendations, all decoration in the game, and it provides a little bit of atmosphere. And there's a nice AI voice that tells you like what the next category of the question is, just like a Netflix recommendation. So I think that works very well for this game. There are 2 rounds, 5 questions each, and then a third round, which is the final round, which isn't just simple trivia questions. It has a category, and then you have to pick all the things that apply to that category, and it's really fast-paced and really chaotic and fun. So the first 10 questions are all trivia questions, except the questions are all more like riddles than straightforward questions. Like in Trivia Murder Party, it's very defined. It's what was Shaq's shoe size, and then there's 4 options and you pick. In this game, the question isn't always that straightforward. It'll be like a riddle or a puzzle, and you have to figure out what it's actually asking for when you pick your answer, which I find is super creative, it's super clever, and it's super fun. It's so rewarding when you figure it out and no one else does, and they all get it wrong. So obviously this requires a little bit more intelligence than something like Trivia Murder Party, which might sound really, I might be talking from a high horse, but I really enjoy this as a alternative to Trivia Murder Party. And there are special questions too. There's something called a dis or dat, where it'll have 2 categories and it'll give you an answer and you have to pick which category it's from, which those are always super entertaining because the 2 categories are nothing alike, but sometimes it's actually challenging to figure out what the answer belongs to. There's a question called Queen of England, Frankenstein, Octopus, or Coffee, where those are the 4 answers, and you'll have to figure out which one it is based on the question, which is harder than you think. And then they have something called a gibberish question, where it'll have just a statement at the top, but it's just gibberish words, but it rhymes with a common phrase. So the example I can think of in my head was the answer was barking up the wrong tree, and the gibberish question was parking, yup, a small fee. So you had to figure out what parking, yup, a small fee rhymes with, and it's always a common phrase. So if you just say the gibberish in your head enough, you'll be like, all right, okay, what does this sound like? What does this sound like? Oh, it's barking up the wrong tree. So it's it's super puzzling the first time you do it, but every other time you do it and you know what you're looking for, it's really fun to be absolutely stumped. In the end, this game has the same play space as Trivia Murder Party, so a lot of times I will end up just playing that instead of this, but I think this is a very smart and intelligent alternative to Trivia Murder Party. Of course, this doesn't have any mini games, but I think this is a very strong trivia game that often will get overlooked. But I think if you come back to this, you will have a good time. The next game is Split the Room. This is kind of quiplashy, but instead of being funny, you're trying to make awkward and hard situations for people. So how it works is you will be given a prompt with a blank. And the example they give in the game is all advertisements before online videos are removed and replaced with 15-second videos of blank. Is the world a better place? So you are trying to put an answer in the blank that will literally split the room. So you want some people to say, yes, the world is a better place now, but you also want some people to say, no, the world is not a better place. So you would put in answers like videos of people pooping, videos of naked men dancing, videos of babies crying. So something semi-controversial that you think half the people in the room will agree with and half the people will disagree with. And then you get points based on what the split is in the room. So it's a very thinking game. You have to try to put an answer that you think some people will agree with and some people won't. It's very divisive, and that is super entertaining. A few problems I have with this is some people won't get the gist of the game right away, and it might take them a play or two to get acclimated with how exactly to put in their answers. And the scoreboard does not stay on the screen for long enough. And that's something that really bothers me. Every time I play, I don't know how I'm doing relative to other people because it shows the scores and like that, they're just off the screen. Either way, I think this is the Twilight Zone theme fits this game perfectly. The music is perfect, and the little cat narrator mascot person they have is so funny. I think this game is a very interesting game, and it's something that Jackbox hasn't done before, and that makes it really entertaining. The next game is Mad vs. City. This is literally a game about rap battles versus your friend, but it's themed with robots, and whatever you put as your rap, there will be a text-to-speech sort of thing that will say it through the TV. So all your raps get said out loud. So whatever nasty words you put in there, some computer's saying right back to you. And this is hilarious. This is probably one of the funniest Jackbox games. It rivals Quiplash in terms of comedy. And I think if you get a bunch of really creative and clever people who are really good at writing raps, you will have a blast. I guess it's just poetry. It's just slam poetry. They made a robot-themed poetry game. And I never thought I'd be saying that I would have fun writing poetry, but that's what I do. I cannot recommend this game enough. This is probably a top 3 game in all of the Jackbox Party Packs, which is really saying something. I remembered that I haven't even explained how the game works. I just gave it highest praise. Basically, you will get a blank, like a Mad Lib. It'll say, give me a noun or a feeling or a verb, something like that. And you'll put that in. And that will be the last word of a line of a rap that the computer will make. And then you'll write a line that rhymes with the thing that you just put. And you do that twice. So basically you come up with 2 words and 2 lines for a total of 4 lines. And you do that 3 times in the game. And it's simple. It's just like that. But the results are so hilarious. There's even if you play with an odd number of people, it puts an AI named Gene in there, and he's an AI, so he doesn't necessarily have the best rhymes, but sometimes he comes up with the sickest burns. So at any player count, I would recommend this game. I think it's a blast to play and probably the best game from this pack. And we're doing a complete 180 because now we're talking about Zeepeldome. The Jackbox team went out on a limb when they made this game because this isn't like anything they've released before. This is a dexterity game, which means it's like physical skill and not thinking at all. You basically have these Zeeples, I guess what they're called, and they're just colored people. Oh gosh, that sounds horrible, but when I say colored people, I mean you'll have a little dude and he'll be green or blue or yellow or purple or red or something like that. And you basically fling them around the screen and you try to hit enemies. And everyone has a different color, so you try to hit things that are your color. if it sounds like I don't know what this game is because I I really don't know what this game is. I've tried this several times, but it just seems too finicky and too random to actually like put effort into. And I will usually play around with people and they'll be like, "Can we not?" And it's disappointing, but I'm glad this exists, but I don't think it worked in execution. And I would appreciate if the Jackbox team kept taking risks like this to make games that kind of think outside the box and they're not like normal use your phone as an answer, click a, it's more creative than the normal game, but it just didn't work this time. And the last game I want to talk about is Patently Stupid. So this is the drawing game of this pack. How this game works is everyone will come up with a problem, and then you will get someone else's problem, and you'll have to come up with an invention to solve it. So you'll come up with a drawing, a title, and a tagline for what the invention is. And then after you come up with all three of those things, you and everyone else will present your ideas, and then you'll have a certain amount of money, and you have to allocate it to different projects to get them funded. And you get points if your project gets enough money to be funded. And then there's a last round where everyone has the same problem. So they come up with different inventions based on that. So this is a really creative game. It brings out the creative side of people and it lets them make funny or smart inventions. So this can work for a variety of people. And the drawing aspect is fun because some people don't like drawing games, but this game is a drawing game where the emphasis isn't on the drawing. So I feel like even if you aren't good at drawing or you don't like it, you can still enjoy this game, which I think works really well. One of the problems I have with this is the pacing issues. You basically get 3 separate time slots to draw, title, and tagline, and then you get that again for the final round when you're coming up with another invention. So it feels very stop and go, and it feels like it takes twice as long as it should, which feels weird. So when you're playing this game, it feels like it's dragging, where it's only been maybe like 15 minutes. And that's something that I wish wasn't in this game. Because otherwise, this would be a top tier drawing game and a really fun. But it just feels like it takes way too long and you kind of lose interest about 3/4 of the way through because you're just like, wow, it's been a while. But anyway, this is a really fun and creative game. And I would definitely recommend playing it despite its length. So that's all the games. I have to say the games from this pack really are smart and clever and creative, more so than normal Jackbox games are. And I applaud Jackbox for releasing these all together because it's nice. It's a nice package, So I gave Mad vs. City 5 out of 5 stars. I probably should have given it 6 out of 5 stars because it's one of the best Jackbox games ever made. Split the Room and You Don't Know Jack are both very creative games, and they're kind of not what you normally see in a Jackbox game, even though you've seen You Don't Know Jack before. The types of questions and scenarios you're put in makes you really think, and I'm glad they are both here. They are both great games. Not perfect, not anything outstanding like Mad vs. City is, but they are both solid, good picks. Patently Stupid, it's another solid pick, but it's not up there with You Don't Know Jack and Split the Room just because of the pacing issues I discussed. That's something that really bothers me and a lot of people I play with. They want like fast pace, quick games when they play. They don't want something that'll take half an hour, which is one of the problems people have with Push the Button too, even though that's one of my favorite games. And lastly, we have Zeepeldome, which I feel bad giving it a 1 star, but like it's just not good. If I'm being completely honest, it's not enjoyable. Like after I did my Party Pack 3 review, I went back and I played Guespionage, and if I could re-review that, I would probably give it a 2 star just because I enjoyed it more, giving it another look. I've given Zeepeldome a bunch of second chances in it. Just it's not quite ready. Jackbox Party Pack 5 probably wasn't the right place to release something like that. They probably should have refined that idea more and then maybe released it in 7 or 10. Who knows if they'll even make that many party packs. Yeah, so that's my review of Jackbox Party Pack 5. I think this is overall a very strong pack. It's very thought-provoking and hilarious at the same time. There are 4 great to decent games in here, and I think this and 3 are probably some of the best games in terms of value. I think 5 is just a little bit better than 6, but 6 is still very good. And I have a few announcements for my channel. I intend to release at least 2 more podcasts before the new year. Hopefully, I can get maybe even a third or a fourth one in, but I know for sure I'm going to get at least 2 podcasts before 2020. That feels so weird to say 2020. It's only like 2 weeks away. That's crazy. And my second announcement is I'm making a new book club series, and the first book I'm going to be discussing is Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So that will come out probably tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So if you want to start reading, I know it's a long read. It's 216 pages, but it's also like third grade reading level, so I don't expect it to take that long for too many of you. But if you want to read it now so that when I discuss it, you can follow along and you're knowledgeable of the immense psychological topics from that book, I would appreciate some discourse in the comments. So thank you for watching or listening to my podcast. If you don't have any New Year's resolutions yet for 2020, I have a suggestion for you. Like and subscribe. So yeah, thank you for watching. Happy Hanukkah. Have a cheerful Kwanzaa. And remember to prolong the war on Christmas. Peace.